Hey everyone, welcome back to AskReddit with a new episode of Reddit Stories, the place where you'll find the best posts and comments from the front page of the internet. I create new videos daily for all you Reddit lovers, so don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. Today's story is called Psychological Tricks Everyone Should Know About. Okay, so a girl I knew in college figured out the cheat code to getting a crush to like you back. She found out what her crush's favorite candy was, and every single time that she saw him, she'd smile, greet him, and give him his favorite candy. Even if this was the extent of the interaction, just saying hello, she made sure to give him the candy. She literally always had it stocked up in her bag in case of a run-in with him. I forget her exact words, but essentially, whenever he ate the candy because it was his favorite, his brain would release happiness hormones. He began to subconsciously make that connection that when he saw her, he would get candy, and he was super happy to see her, though it was actually the brain knowing he'd get candy. After a certain period of time, the brain begins to confuse a little about why he was happy when he saw her, and he began to believe he was actually getting a crush on her, instead of just liking the candy. I have a trick when you forget someone's name. Bear with me because step 1 is pretty obvious. Step 1 is simply just asking, "What's your name again?" And 1 out of 10 will give you their name again and problem solved. Now as for the other 9 out of 10, they usually say, "OMG, I can't believe you forgot my name," and act all offended, which is why we don't ask in the first place because we feel embarrassed. And this is where step 2 comes in. You fake a small laugh and say, "No, I mean your full name." And then they calm down and say, "Oh," and 8 out of 9 will give you their full name. But just this time, make sure you pay attention to the first name and bam, you got their name again. Bad thing is, you can only use this trick once. And there is always that one person that just gives you their last name. So just call them by that for the rest of your life. You're welcome. If they ask, "Why did you ask for my full name?" just say, "Oh, you look like a friend of mine and thought you two might have been related or something." If you're trying to figure out other people's motivation, if that person is a racist, for example, and if you ask someone, "Hey, are you racist?" that person will almost always say no. Then ask them about someone else's motivations. They will project their motivations on that person and expose motivations that they have that they would never actually tell you. This is far more accurate than trying to analyze their behavior and speech. When you notice yourself suspecting someone has a negative motivation, that's really a deficit of positive motivation in your own mind. So what bubbles to the surface is your own negative emotions. You are really seeing into the dark corners of your own soul. These are the things you hate about yourself, that you lie about to yourself, what Carl Jung calls the shadow. You can use this to your advantage to actually, genuinely for once, become a better person. But it hurts really, really bad. If you're enjoying this episode of Reddit Stories, please leave a comment below. Tell me what you think about this video, share your story, or a story you've heard from a friend. When you're on a date with someone you don't know that well, and they're making you uncomfortable, tell them that you have a parent or older sibling that's in law enforcement. If they're planning something such as kidnapping, they'll be deterred. When giving a presentation at work, make it so that you're standing when everyone else is sitting. This way you'll be viewed as the authority. 4, 6, 8. If you're panicking, focus on breathing in for 4 seconds, holding it for 6 seconds, and breathing out for 8 seconds. Not only does focusing on it distract you from your panic, but it slows down your breathing and helps you get more oxygen into your body. When someone hides a coin in their hand, tell them to cross it. Most of the time, the lower hand has the coin. With confidence and the right clothing, you can go anywhere and get away with anything. Scent has a powerful memory recall ability. Nervous about an exam? Spray on some cologne when you study. Wear the same cologne to the exam and it'll help enhance your ability to recall key info. If you can't decide between 2 choices, flip a coin. Your heart will tell you which side you want the coin to show before it shows. If you ever end up with an arm or leg in a cast and you get an itch you can't scratch, try this. Look at yourself in a full-length mirror. Then scratch the arm or leg that isn't in a cast. Your mind will eradicate the itch on the opposite side. If someone has the hiccups, you can get rid of them by getting them to focus intently on imagining something. I say, imagine a camel. This camel has 1 hump. On top of the hump is a rug. It's an intricate hand-woven rug. It has purple in it. It has blue in it. It has red in it. I've never had to describe further than that. but they've always got rid of the hiccups if they focus. If you admit you're wrong and don't try to argue back with the person, they will think you are smarter. When you want a friend to open up about something they might not want to talk about, ask a question, then make a long pause. People have a natural tendency to find silences awkward and try to fill them. If you let a silence linger, they might start talking about what's bothering them. We all fall for the advertising trick where young, attractive people are using a product. Our subconscious picks that up and we buy the product. Great example is beer ads at the beach where everybody is having a great time. When we buy the beer, we think, that is going to be me. If you're going to be in a situation where you think you may need help at some time, a university course would be a great example. Always try to help as many people as you can as soon as you can. Later on, they will feel more obliged to help you when you need it. I've been doing it for years. I always make sure I talk to as many people as I can, even if I hate them, and help them out with things such as links to textbooks, answers to questions, even if they would already know, etc. It's then you can go and ask them for help with something genuinely hard, and they won't see the game you are playing. If you struggle with motivation, just tell yourself you'll only work on the thing for 5 minutes and then you can stop. Once you start, you are more likely to continue for longer as opposed to not having done it at all. The hard part is starting. Once we start, the physical action of doing it makes it easier to just keep going. If you're in a situation with a group of kids and everyone's getting louder and you need to rein in their attention, lower your voice. Shouting over them will make everyone else get louder. If you talk quieter, but not like a whisper, the first few rows of people will lean in to hear and quickly start shushing everyone else behind them. People farther back will do the same, and in 5 to 20 seconds, they've regulated themselves back to a quiet audience. If someone won't stay away from your desk, pick up your water bottle and go fill it. They will follow, then walk back to their desk. They will instinctively sit down, then you can walk away. If you're talking to someone who won't stop talking or let you intercept and you need to steer the conversation, I learned this working in a call center. Stop them and ask permission to ask a question. Sometimes it's as easy as, hey, sorry to interrupt, but can I ask you a question real quick? Generally, people will say yes because it's polite. But it also can flip a switch in their head, and they will be receptive to more questions, and you can use the questions to steer the conversation. One way to get someone, your partner, your kid, an employee, a coworker, to do something for you is to tell them how much better they are at it than you. I'd fold the laundry, but it's so much neater and nicer when you do it. If you approach a door at the same time as someone else and want them to open it for you, gesture to it and say something like, after you. You'd be surprised how often the other person will not only open the door, but hold it open for you to walk through first. When I played tennis matches in college, right after switching sides after the first game, I'd ask my opponent, when you toss the ball up when serving, do you hold your breath, inhale, or exhale? Always resulted in missed serves, double faults. You could definitely tell they were paying overly too much attention to their breathing for the remainder of the match. Get in the mind of your opponent and give them something to get distracted with and move in for the kill. Thanks for watching today's episode of Reddit Stories. Leave a comment and tell me what you think about this video. Share your story, and if you want to see more of this, please like and subscribe to my channel.